I woke up to breathing that wasn't mine. Slow. Practiced. I opened my eyes. Something was standing at the foot of my bed. It was breathing like it was learning how. When it saw me looking at it, it ran. Bare feet, one slap on the floor. Gone. Then I heard my own voice under the floor. The first night I slept in the unit, I woke up to my own voice coming from underneath the floor. It wasn't talking. It was practicing. I moved in because I needed somewhere cheap, quiet, and temporary. Remote job, no friends in the city, no reason to pay full price for a place I'd barely live in. The building used to be offices. Someone converted it into apartments without changing much. Long hallways, drop ceiling, fluorescent lights that buzz when they're tired. My unit was on the ground level, technically Unit 1, which sounded normal, until I noticed the heavy metal door at the end of the hall. Storage only. I asked the landlord about it during the walkthrough. He didn't even look at the door. "Nothing down there," he said. "Old junk, pipes, storage, locked for a reason." The way he said "locked for a reason" felt memorized, like he'd said it a lot. But I signed anyway, because cheap rent makes you ignore instincts. That first night, I crashed hard. Phone on the charger, shoes kicked off, lights out, new start. Then I woke up. Not from a nightmare, from a sound. "Hey, it's me." I sat up instantly, because that was my voice. Not from the hallway, not from another unit, from under the floor. "Hey, it's me." It said the same thing again and again, but each time it sounded slightly different. "Hey, it's me. Hey, it's me. Hey, it's me." Like it was trying to find the right rhythm, like it was learning where to put the humanity. I swung my legs off the bed. The moment my feet touched the floor, the voice stopped. No pipes. No creaks. No buildings settling. Just silence. Then something shifted under the floor. Not footsteps. Weight. Like something pressed up against the underside and waited. I didn't sleep after that. The next morning I did what everyone does. I tried to explain it away. Old building. Echoes. Imagination. I checked the hallway. Empty. I checked the basement door. Locked. I leaned in close. Nothing. But when I pulled back, I smelled something. Sweet. Not rot. Not sewage. Like a candle someone lit to hide something worse. That night I came home and immediately knew something was wrong. My bathroom light was on. I never leave it on. There were muddy footprints on the tile. Bare feet, too long, too narrow. They started near the drain, like someone had stood there dripping. And they ended at my bedroom door. I checked the lock. Deadbolted. Windows. Locked. I grabbed a kitchen knife, not because I'm brave, because holding something sharp makes you feel less helpless. I checked everywhere. Closet, shower, under the bed. Nothing. When I came back out, the footprints looked different, like the toes had dragged. I called the landlord. He answered immediately. I told him about the footprints. He went quiet. Then he said, "Are you sure they're footprints?" I said yes. Another pause. "Don't open the basement door." I asked why. "Because you'll make it worse." Then he hung up. That night, it started using someone else's voice. My mom's. Soft. Careful. Close. "Hello?" My stomach dropped. Then my own voice again. "Don't answer." The floor creaked. Not breaking. Pressing. Like a face against the wood. Breathing. Patient. The next day, I bought a cheap camera. I aimed it at the basement door. That night, I stayed awake. Around midnight, the camera picked up movement. The handle twitched. Not turning. Testing. Then my voice breathed into the mic. The camera was gone in the morning. Not broken. Gone. The landlord wasn't surprised. When I said the word Skinwalker, he whispered, "Don't say that in the building." Then he said, "It's still hungry." I started packing. The sounds followed me, room to room, under the floor, tracking. When I tried to leave, the basement door was open. Not wide, just enough. My mom's voice came from inside. Perfect this time. "Sweetie?" I stepped forward. Then my own voice smiled. "That's it." I ran. I woke up on concrete. Cold. Damp. The basement. But not storage. Rooms. Old offices turned into something else. Footprints everywhere. Different sizes. Different ages. Above me, I heard my voice. Living my life. Talking to new tenants. Selling the unit. Then it spoke without copying anyone. "Stay. Listen. Learn." My phone uploaded this on its own, because that's how it spreads. Through rooms. Through walls. So if you hear a familiar voice tonight saying, "Hey, it's me," don't open the door, because it can do you better, and it's already practicing. Our dog started standing on two legs at night. Only when it thought we were asleep. We adopted him 3 weeks earlier. My girlfriend Mara found the listing late one night while we were half watching TV. No pictures, no description. Just one line. Adult dog, very quiet, needs experienced owners. That should have stopped us. But it didn't, because something about him felt familiar. We hadn't had a dog since Scout, our first dog, 7 years earlier. Scout had been with us since college. White fur, long legs, too smart for his own good. And one night, he disappeared. No barking, no scratching, no open doors. Just gone. We searched for weeks. Posters, calls, late-night walks through the neighborhood. Nothing. Eventually, people stopped asking, and we stopped talking about it. But when Mara read the shelter listing out loud, she looked at me and said, "He sounds like Scout." That should have scared me. Instead, it made us nostalgic. The shelter was on the edge of town, backed up against trees. Not deep woods, but close enough that the air felt colder. The woman at the desk didn't smile, didn't ask our names, didn't ask why we were there. She slid the paperwork across the counter and said, "He doesn't like being watched." We laughed. She didn't. He was in the last kennel, sitting, perfectly still. White fur, long legs, chest too deep. When I knelt, he didn't wag his tail, didn't bark, didn't whine. He just stared at me, unblinking. Mara whispered, "Do you see it?" I nodded, because I did. Something about his posture, the angle of his head, the stillness. It reminded us of Scout. Not exactly, but close enough to make my stomach tighten. The woman said his name was Hollis. She said it like it wasn't his first name. "Has he been returned before?" Mara asked. The woman paused. "Twice," she said, "for behavioral reasons." We signed anyway, because sometimes your heart recognizes something your brain hasn't caught up to yet. At home, Hollis didn't explore. Didn't sniff corners. Didn't check rooms. He walked straight to the living room, sat down, and watched us. All night. No pacing, no sleeping, just watching. When Mara said his name, his ears twitched, and he looked at me, the same way Scout used to. The first night, we closed the bedroom door, not because we were scared, just instinct. Sometime after midnight, I woke up, not from a sound, from that feeling, like someone was standing too close. I opened my eyes. The bedroom door was cracked. I knew we'd closed it, and in the gap, I saw Hollis, standing upright, back legs straight, front paws hanging loose at his sides, balanced, still. Then his chest expanded, slow, controlled, not panting, breathing. I squeezed my eyes shut, counted to 5, opened them again. The door was closed. Hollis was gone. I didn't sleep after that. The next morning, Mara said, "Did Scout ever do that thing where he'd just stand there and stare at us?" My stomach dropped, because she'd never told me that before. Scout used to stand at the foot of our bed, never like a dog, like he was waiting. 2 weeks later, he vanished. The second night, I stayed awake, lights off, breathing slow. At 2:17 a.m., the hallway creaked. Careful, deliberate. The door opened. Hollis stepped in. Up, all the way up. His spine straightened, shoulders rolled back. He took one step, then another. He leaned forward and whispered, in something almost like Mara's voice, "Sleep." I sat up. Hollis dropped instantly, back to all fours, and ran. Claws slammed down the hallway. Mara screamed. Lights snapped on. The house felt wrong, like something had been opened. The next day, Hollis was gone. No scratching, no barking, no signs he'd gotten out. The back door was locked, windows closed, fence intact. Mara walked the neighborhood. I checked the woods, called his name. Nothing. Except the basement door. Open. We never used the basement. It was unfinished, concrete, cold. When I looked down the stairs, I smelled it. That sweet, dusty smell. I didn't go down. I closed the door and locked it. Hollis came back just before sunset, sitting on the porch, waiting. His fur was damp, his paws muddy, like he'd been somewhere underground. That night, he didn't hide it. We watched the living room camera from our phone. At 1:48 a.m., Hollis stood up. Not slowly, not clumsily, not an animal. Too controlled. Too slow. Like someone pretending to be asleep. I grabbed my phone and turned the flashlight on. The beam cut across the wooden floorboards. Nothing. But the breathing stopped. The next morning, I checked outside. There were tracks in the dirt around the cabin. Bare footprints. Long toes. Too narrow for a person. They led straight under the cabin, then stopped. That night, it tried my voice. I was washing dishes when I heard it outside the door. Soft. Testing. Almost right. Hey, open up. It sounded like me, but the rhythm was wrong. Like it had learned the words before the feeling. I didn't answer. The voice tried again. Closer this time. Right outside the door. Hey, it's me. I turned off the lights, held my breath. The floor creaked. Not outside, under the cabin again. Dragging, circling. Then something pressed against the boards beneath the bed. Hard, like a face pushing up through the wood. The breathing came back, right under my spine. Then it whispered, not in my voice, not anyone's voice, just a wet sound trying to become language. The next day, I lifted one of the loose boards outside the cabin, just enough to look underneath. At first, I didn't see it, just dirt, roots. Then the dirt moved. Two white eyes opened, too far apart, too deep in the skull. The thing unfolded itself slowly. Limbs too long. Skin stretched tight across ribs. And the worst part? It was smiling. Because it finally understood how. It pulled itself closer to the hole in the floor, closer to me. Then it spoke again. Perfect this time. In my voice. Open the door. I left that cabin without packing, without locking the door. But when I reached the road, I heard footsteps behind me. Bare feet. Practicing my walk. Stories like these always end the same way. Someone hears something familiar, a voice, footsteps, something calling from the dark, and for a moment, they almost answer it. Because that's the trick. Skinwalkers don't just hunt people, they study them. They watch how you move, how you talk, how you breathe. Until one night, they can do it better than you can. So if you ever hear something outside your door, or under your floor, or walking beside you in the woods, and it sounds exactly like someone you trust, don't answer it. Don't follow it. And whatever you do, don't let it see how afraid you are. Because somewhere out there, something is still practicing, and it might already know your voice.